those nails. There's 3 nails on that cut. Okay, so we're on this job site today and we've got some water damage, so we're having to pull up the subfloor. Now in our area, this is what they put down on top of the decking. This is called particle board, that's what we call it. So we've got like 1x10s or 1x12 decking boards, 3/4 thick put down. And then this is super common in our area, particle board. So this stuff is just awful. If you know what it is, you know how awful it is. It's just sawdust glued together. It's really nasty stuff. And when you cut it, dust flies everywhere. And they typically nail the living daylights out of this stuff, okay? So the nails that they use in our experience, every single one of these that we've done are these number 8 coated nails. Now these things have like this waffle head, they're super hard, but they put these things everywhere. They're a little over 2 inches long, okay? So I have a problem with blade manufacturers claiming that you can cut a bazillion nails and never lose a tooth. Now I've got a few different flavors of blades here. You know, these are just framing blades, but some people use them for demo. Spider, they make a demo blade. DeWalt, Diablo is one of the worst in my opinion. It's about stating these outrageous claims, and I like Diablo blades. I use Diablo blades all the time, but they state these outrageous claims, and all these tool review guys, what do they do when they do this torture test for these blades? Like this is the new nail slicer, right? It's supposed to slice nails really good. What do? They take a nail and they drive it into the side of a board, right? Then they run their saw across all these nails. They'll put bolts in there, you know, shingles, metal sometimes, and they'll cut through all this. And it's like a torture test, and it's great and all, but here where I live in the real world, on actual job sites, not in front of a camera most of the time, I can probably count on one hand how many times I've cut a nail across like this with a circular saw. It just doesn't happen. Sawzall, sure, not with a circular saw. Why is that, okay? Because a nail is nailed in this orientation, not that orientation, right? Does that make sense? So this floor that we're about to demo behind me, all of the nails are driven down into the floor like this. So I'm going to be cutting, if I hit a nail, I'm not cutting it like this. I'm cutting it like this. So if I hit that nail, the blade's gonna hit the head of the nail, and it's gonna hit a good chunk of the shank of the nail. So I always set my depth. This stuff's about 5/8 thick. So I'll probably set my depth to about 3/4, 7/8, something like that. That way I know I pass all the way through it. A lot of guys don't know how to remove this stuff, this particle board. They'll just come in and with pry bars and crowbars, and they start trying to take it up. When you do that, it's a nightmare because this stuff will just crumble into little pieces, especially if it's nailed properly like they used to. So some of them you can get away with doing that if they didn't nail it very well, but a lot of times they just pepper it with nails. Guys love driving nails, so they drive nails all over the place. And back in the day, you know, these are all hand-driven nails, no nail gun here. So what we do to remove it is we cut it up into little squares. So I've got my Beast Flex circular saw here, and I've got the dust extraction attachment here. So I'm gonna hook this up to a vacuum. That way it'll keep the dust down. But what I'm gonna do is I'm going to install the new Crescent nail slicer blade. All right, here we go. I'm gonna take this brand new blade out of the packaging. I've never used this blade before. Crescent actually sent me this, full disclosure. So we're gonna install this blade and we'll just see if it really is the nail slicer. And I think Crescent has had a few videos too where they're showing like this, you know, just unbelievable torture test. And it is impressive. You know, it is impressive that they can cut through all those nails and not lose a tooth, you know, and just keep going. All right, we got our Crescent nail slicer blade. I love this saw, by the way, for demo. I'm not a huge fan of it for just everyday cutting because it's so big. I'm just not a rear handle guy. That's why I don't like it. If you like rear handles, you probably love that Flex. All right, let's slap a battery in this dude. Let me grab a battery real quick. Here we go, 10 amps stacked. There we are. All right, so what we've done is we have actually marked the location of the nails. For whatever reason, and this never happens, they actually nailed into the joist below us. So we've got nails here, we've got nails here. I'm going to cut in between. So here we go. I'm going to turn on my vacuum. We're going to rock and roll here. All right, so we'll do a little inspection and see if we're missing any carbide. No carbide missing. I didn't see a single spark, so I don't think I hit any nails. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna purposely hit a few nails. All right, so I've got this line of nails right here. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, about 8 nails, but I'm gonna keep rolling. Yeah, I'm gonna keep rolling. I'm gonna hit a bunch of them. I tell you what, I'm gonna do half this room, then I'm gonna stop and we'll inspect the blade. But look for some sparks because it's gonna happen. Here we go. All right, let's just stop right there. I've probably hit, what do you think, 7, 8 nails, something like that. Let's see what we got here. We got any damage? No damage yet. I am shocked right now. I'm really, really surprised. Let's keep going. Let's see how many we can hit here. No more of that. All right, let's take a look because I have a noticeable slow down. I can tell the blade it feels like it's gone. I'm really surprised it has any carbide left. This is amazing. Every Diablo I've ever tried, or DeWalt, they've all failed me. Let's keep going. Let's do a little bit more. I'm really impressed. Pull the battery for safety, of course. Let's check it out again. There is no carbide missing. That is amazing. So every DeWalt I've ever used to do the same task, or DeWalt, Diablo, even the spider blades, they just, the carbide just shreds on them. So the nail slicer I'm actually really impressed with. It is dull. I can tell it's really, really dull right now. But all the carbide is there. So we're going to keep cutting. We're going to cross cut this. This is just half the process. So we've cut this way. Now we need to cut the other way. So we're going to keep cutting, and by the end of the video, we'll see what kind of shape the blade's in. But I'm super impressed right now. Two nails. There's 3 nails on that cut. Blade is super dull. Still cutting. One more cut. All right, so now that we've got all of them cut up into chunks, just got a roofer shovel, and we got Special K doing what he does. Very nice. All right, so we've got a roofing shuffle, but do we do any roofing, Kay?
No, sir.
No, unless it's metal. We do a little metal roofing, but we don't do any shingles. But you can kind of see what we're working with here. See, they just pepper those nails. There's plenty of them. Tar paper on the back. This is standard in our area. This is what we have to demo. If this stuff gets wet, which it has, not in this room, but it was wet in all of this room. That's why it's already pulled up. If this stuff gets wet, it just crumbles underneath your feet and it swells up really bad. So, yeah, it's garbage. We do not install particle board anywhere anymore. Well, I'll have to say, the nail slicer from Crescent lives up to its reputation. So you can see here, we've got the other half of this nail. I mean, I went right down through that bad boy. Pretty incredible. It really is. I'm super impressed with those blades. So if you were curious which vacuum we are running, this is the Flex VCE 44AC extractor, and we love this thing. We've had it for quite a while. We got a really good deal on it, actually. So it's got, you know, the tool compartment here where you can plug a cord into it and it'll turn the vacuum on and off. And we do use that a lot for like drywall sanding and stuff, but we love Flex tools. This vacuum hooked up to this Flex rear handle is just amazing. The amount of dust that it sucked into that is just awesome, because that particle board is so bad. But we've got a good bit of it tore out. We do have a little bit more to go here. We're trying to kind of sweep it up, clean it up right now. You can kind of see my lines where I cut. So we just got a little bit over here to do left. But I think the main takeaway for this video is the nail slicer blade from Crescent. It's legit. I'm impressed. I did not think it was going to do what it did. That's the only blade I've ever had do that. Now, I will say this. These Flex blades, these are not demolition blades. These are just standard Flex blades that come on the Flex tools. They are actually really good, and I have had really good success doing exactly what we did in here with these blades and not losing much carbide. These actually have performed the best out of Diablo, Spider, and DeWalt for me, for doing this. Now, the Crescent nail slicer, to me, I think that's the go-to for this. I'm not saying it's the go-to for every application, but if you're tearing up particle board that's been nailed down with number 8 coated nails, it's impressive. It really is. So really appreciate everybody checking out the video. I hope it was a little bit informative. Make sure you like and subscribe, because I really appreciate it. We'll see you next time.